Down front, on the front table, we have photographs of mothers and grandmothers. So if anyone happened to bring one, you can place that on the table down front. We're doing a little recognition time during Candles of Joys and Concern. And we have plenty of flowers on the altar today. A lot of the seasonal daffodils and jonquils that came out this week. And Christoph picked this bouquet on his way to the service coming from the meditation garden. A little purple flower and a jonquil.
Maybe those
and
are yours.
the story down, behind part of the jonquil bulbs. In the meditation garden. A few of yours are also in the large bouquet in the center here, Deb. So, these flowers on the altar are meant to honor women, mothers, and all feminine energy on this day. And we invite all women and girls to please take one home after this. If you look closely in the bulletin, you'll notice that it says the service leader for today is Catherine. You can relax, Catherine, that is not the case. The template carried over from the last service, and I didn't forget yet. Of course, you can always assist in today's service if you like. I remember my childhood around the age of 8 to 10 years old. My twin sister, come right in, you guys. So I remember in my childhood, around the age of 8 to 10 years old, my twin sister and I used to always complain, there's nothing to do. We would go to Mom, who was busy in the kitchen doing something, and we'd say the same thing over and over again, there's nothing to do. Hoping that she might have some suggestions since we had run out of ideas. We had our basic chores, schoolwork, and music lessons, but besides that, playing was our full-time job. I remember my mother's response time and time again, and she'd say, "You'd better appreciate it now. When you get older, you'll always have something to do." Even then, I knew she was right, and yes, indeed, right she was. Our prelude this morning is titled Ecclesiastes 2:24 by Felicity, mandolin solo. And this scripture translates as, "A person can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in their own toil. This too I see is from the hand of God." Each task, errand, and activity is a valued use of our time and energy, even though we may experience fatigue and disinterest. This is the content of our life and living, and we approach it with renewed attitude and appreciation. It's something our mothers and grandmothers always encouraged us to do. This is our prelude this morning. For our moment of centering silence this morning, let us pause, breathe a relaxing breath, and prepare to enter the opening into the next present moment. Get ready. Here it comes. With each breath, a new moment comes and goes, comes and goes. Each moment is the timeless expression of being right here and now. Please keep breathing, and let's listen to the sound of the singing bowl together. Silent cue. You got it. May this flame we light remind us that every one of us can bring a light of love to the world. Every one of us can be a blessing to the world, each in our own specific way. Let us burn bright. Opening words this morning are from Mary Oliver's 2016 collection of poetry titled Felicity. Felicity is defined as a state of happiness or a quality of joy. Or as Yogananda would say in The Science of Religion, he would describe it as bliss, love, felicity. I'd like to read from the flyleaf cover. If I had any secret stash of poems anywhere, it might be about love, not anger, Mary Oliver once said in an interview. Finally, in her stunning new collection, Felicity, we can immerse ourselves in Oliver's love poems. Here, great happiness abounds. Our most delicate chronicler of physical landscape, Oliver has described her work as loving the world. With Felicity, she examines what it means to love another person. She opens our eyes again to the territory within our own hearts, to the wild and to the quiet. In these poems, she describes with joy the strangeness and wonder of human connection. Thinking of our families, mothers, fathers, siblings, next door neighbors. She opens with two quotes, both by Rumi. Someone who does not run toward the allure of love walks a road where nothing lives. You broke the cage and flew. And I'm going to read two poems. In this poem, it sounds like she is interviewing herself with a short series of questions. It's titled, "When Did It Happen?" When did it happen? It was a long time ago. Where did it happen? It was far away. No tell. Where did it happen? In my heart. What is your heart doing right now? Remembering, remembering. And a poem titled, "Everything That Was Broken." Everything that was broken has forgotten its brokenness. I live now in a sky house Through every window I see the sun. Also your presence, our touching, our stories, earthy and holy both. How can this be? But it is. Every day has something in it whose name is forever. We're going to sing hymn number 38. I'm going to do it on guitar today.
Thank you.
Morning is Broken, number 38. And we're going to stand as you are able and sing all verses. Our group reading this morning is actually a prayer that we will do together. Number 515. It's titled, We Lift Up Our Hearts in Thanks. Number 515. For the sun and the dawn which we did not create.
For the moon and the evening which we did not make.
For food which we plant but cannot grow.
For friends and loved ones we have not earned and cannot buy.
For this gathered company which welcomes us as we are from wherever we have come.
For all our free churches that keep us human and encourage us in our quest for beauty, truth, and love.
For all things which come to us as gifts of being from sources beyond ourselves.
Gifts of life and love and friendship, we lift up our hearts in thanks this day.
For our offering this morning, Stephen, could I recruit you as our usher today? I was trying to find a piece that would tie into our topic today, which is on release and forgiveness. And I came up with this one by the Delvon Lamar Organ Trio of Seattle, Washington. Lamar is actually spelled with 2 R's. Spell check didn't like the second R. So The band is In the Mode of Booker T and the MGs, part of the Muscle Shoals sound in the 1960s. This is titled, Can I Change My Mind? Let us give the parts of gladness this morning. Two individuals of slightly lower IQ score walk into a Toys R Us to buy a puzzle. They take it home and sit down to solve it. A week later, they finish the puzzle. Well, that didn't take so long, so, no, it didn't. Especially since it says 4 to 5 years on the box. So today's sermon should not take that long to finish. I'll try to keep this moving. This is part 12 of our series on the science of religion and our UU shared values, love being at the center. And it's part 2 on the topic of release and forgiveness that we started before Easter, which is a while ago. You may or may not remember much of that. I had to check my own notes myself. So with that in mind, we're going to do a really quick review, and then we'll start from there. First, I want to start out to point out the quote on the front page of the bulletin above the order of service by Mary Oliver, where it says, "Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable." And then a quote by Rumi, which says, "Look in your eyes. They are small, but they see enormous things." So I'd like to introduce what I call LHLP, large heart, large perspective. This is once again essentially love at the center. LHLP, large heart, large perspective. And forgiveness is a key aspect of that expansion process. On the screen, this is the artwork on the front of Mary Oliver's book by Kai Samuels Davis, an artist from California. And this is titled Fog Over Mendocino. And with this backdrop, just to remind us of Felicity, once again, of this quality of joy and experience of happiness itself. Again, here's another shot of Mary Oliver's book. So here goes a quick review. You might recognize this image from the front of a bulletin, several weeks back. And this was trying to capture part of what forgiveness is about. It's this reversal, a U-turn, a turnaround, or a shift that's required in this process of running into and adjusting and shifting into forgiveness. Someone has to make a move, perhaps only one person, perhaps two. Sometimes it's a number of people or a large number of people involved in the necessary shift. If something is going to adjust, happen, or not. We looked at one scripture from Matthew when Peter came and asked, how many times should I forgive a situation that I'm running into? And he offered a suggestion 7 times, thinking that might be a generous offer. And Jesus replied, forgive 70 times 7. And during Holy Week, when Christ was on the cross, one of his last statements was, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And this would be an example of an LHLP, large heart, large perspective. A person causing injury probably isn't even aware they're doing so, and they are most likely suffering too. When you see someone caught in the cycle of suffering, the highest response is to respond with compassion, forgiveness, and making attempts at restoration. In this complicated world of disagreement and misunderstanding, there is no room or no place for hatred, even when the stakes are high and there is probability of violence. I'd like to read just a couple of quotes. One from Bell Hooks. For me, forgiveness and compassion are always linked. How do we hold people accountable for wrongdoing and yet at the same time remain in touch with their humanity enough to believe in their capacity to be transformed? Theologian Reynold Niebuhr said, forgiveness is the highest and final form of love. Martin Luther King Jr. Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a continual and constant attitude. Oscar Wilde, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them quite so much. There are 2 primary, so this graphic is part of the components and qualities that we're looking at in religion, aspects of it. And today, I think one of the brightest or most important dots, if you're going to evaluate or place emphasis on it, and one of the most difficult to practice and to work with, is that adjustment of forgiveness, release. Adjustments as you go. When circumstances are so loaded with our own personal interests, backstories, or large issues in our society. So there's 2 primary aspects of forgiveness. One is retention, or the holding on. That's one choice that you have, maybe going to the left. And the other choice on the right-hand arrow would be this release, or to relinquish. In the Zen Buddhist tradition, a lot of the instructions we would be given is to relinquish, relinquish, relinquish. So the question comes up of what are you holding on to and what do you release? Removing the negativity, mental toxins and negative buildup, or adhering and aspiring to the positive. Good vibrations, the accumulation of love and joy. High frequency vibrations that you can tune into would be this swing to the release or forgiveness. You know, that retention of all of that content, which we can sometimes feel even a part of our body. It gets stuck in our neck. We can feel it, the tension in our stomach. Even moving, it's like we feel stiff. Sometimes it's the actual metabolism of energy, thoughts, and ideas into our physical body itself. How do we release all of that? American novelist Anne Lamar says, not forgiving is like drinking rat poison and then waiting for the rat to die. When it comes to blockages, non-forgiveness or retention is the most pernicious, and it just clings. We're not good at letting go. We like to hold on. If our number one problem is retention, our number one solution is release or relinquish. Let it go. When something is really sticky, it's difficult for it to slide off the surface of the mind. But if the mind is like a Teflon pan, the nonstick surface helps alleviate the problem. Nothing sticks to it. Everything just slides right off. The letting go. The relinquishing. So this morning, 4 things to remember in this talk. Number 1, don't be cheated on the out-breath. A Buddhist Zen teacher led a retreat at the Unitarian Society back in the late 1990s. She worked at Burger King during the week and led retreats on weekends. She was unconventional, to say the least, even for a Zen teacher. And something she said I'd never heard before. She said, don't be cheated on the out-breath. Even when you think you've exhaled completely, maybe you haven't. Try to release even a little more. In meditation, people will count the breaths, and they tend to place more emphasis on the inhale and are lax about the exhale. Hence the term, don't be cheated on the out-breath. Release completely, and then a little more. Forgiveness is a spiritual exercise or practice daily, continually. And there's no shortage of material to work with from our childhoods, from years ago, to something that happened earlier this week. And it's like breathing, in and out. Inhale, the exhale. Don't try to hold on to your breath, because you can only do that for so long. Just keep letting it go. The inhale, the exhale. Even when you think you've exhaled completely, exhale a little more. Don't be cheated. Number 2 is the 24-hour problem. In Ephesians chapter 4, the Apostle Paul wrote a verse saying, Do not let the sun go down upon your wrath or your anger. It's recommended to not go to bed and still be angry about something that happened that day. The advice is cap it at 24 hours. No longer than 24 hours. You'll get better sleep, and the next day you'll be able to address whatever the problem was, or to move on with your week, move on with your life. So think about, instead of a 24-hour problem, how many hours would 8 days of still working with it in your brain, 8 days later, it becomes a 192-hour problem. 8 months later, you're still working on it. Now it's become a 5,760-hour problem. 8 years later, if you're still wrestling with some of the implications of what happened or what someone said or how you're going to handle it, it's now become a 70,080-hour problem. Forgiveness is not passive action, it is positive action. The most important reason to forgive someone is not for them, though that is important. It is most important for you. When you forgive, you free yourself to move on without any residual emotional contaminants. No hate, no regret, no guilt. AA has a slogan, don't let anyone live in your head rent-free. Especially for 8 years, or 80 years. So, we're going to try a little hand exercise by loosen your hands up a little bit, hold them out, and then close your hands into a tight fist as hard as you can, and just hold. Keep breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in one more time, and then release one of your hands. Keep the other one tight, and just feel what your open hand feels like. Shake it out a little bit. Keep holding the other hand closed tight. And look in your open hand and see what's there. Look closely. What do you see? Okay, now release the other hand. Let it go. See how that feels. Shake it out. When we hold on to something too long, the energy that it takes, and then the felt sense of release when you actually do open it. And when you look in your hand, there's nothing there. So many of our problems are real physical problems that we work with and contend with, but so many of them are ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, which are really difficult to pin down. Are they still there after 24 hours? Number 3. This is get over it. This American Life of Ira Glass was a popular radio show on NPR in collaboration with Chicago Public Media from 1995, over 30 years ago, 600 episodes, and it's still running. Each show had a theme, and then they would explore it in several acts during the 1-hour show. And I still remember one episode from back years ago titled, Get Over It. So I Googled it yesterday just to see if I could track it down, and it comes up. Episode from November 1996. And I remembered it as the problem of repetitive dynamics and how do you get out of it. Relationships, love relationships, situations. And when in a counseling situation, I know there are many factors that need to be taken into consideration. But when you hear the same problem and variations of the same problem session after session, sometimes you just want to get their attention and say, get over it. One metaphysical theory is that our planet is a cosmic laboratory and we are here to learn life lessons during our lifetime on it. At the end of our life, there's a life review, and you get to see what you did and didn't get while you were here on the planet. Then at some point, you go back, try again, and see if you get it the next time around. Another option that speeds up the process is that you do a life review in real time while you are still on the planet and see if you get the life lesson as you are living it. People who have had a near-death experience, or NDE, often report that when they come back, they now have a renewed commitment to live a loving life and to let go of all the things that held them back, like resentment, regret, holding on to grievances, or unwillingness to forgive. The time to release is in this lifetime. Identify what it is and try to let it go. Don't take it with you. Get rid of it now. And number 4, a most important thing. As minister of this religious community of diverse and independent creative thinkers, a most important thing to keep in mind is how we maintain our relationships to each other. And a liturgical theological term in our UU tradition is known as covenant, or our agreements that we make to each other. While we may have widely differing views in our group on a wide variety of subject matter, what we share in common are certain values and ideals. Our theme for the year, our UU Shared Values, is an exploration of what that is. And our 6 agreements are also a part of a practice of these values. Covenant relationship requires giving each other plenty of elbow room or benefit of the doubt as we explore and work together as a diverse group. Our 4 agreements, then added a 5 agreement. Right behind Pete's head is the 5th agreement. And these all tie into the UU shared values that we're talking about this year. And these are a practical or a practice, a way of working with some of these ideals and values, such as be impeccable with your word, speak with integrity, right speech. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. And be skeptical, but learn to listen. So at some point, we always run into, the point, or what's our standard? When do we cross a line? When do we need to speak to someone, or who do we speak to about working out these relationships? So basically, it's 1, to confront, 2, clarify, and 3, restore. By clarifying, asking, clarifying questions about how you're feeling, what another person has said or done, in an effort to create a conversation that is protected and can move forward, restoring the community. As a minister, sometimes I hear both ends of a conversation. I'm the middle person, and people will come to me, I hear one version, and then I hear the other version. And as a mediator in the middle, it's sometimes difficult to know how much to assist, how much to get involved, and to let the conversations play out. And looking back over 20 years of these experiences of people working together in spiritual community, sometimes you'll see the two parties, they are not going to come together and have that final conversation or restoration. And sometimes they do. And it's one of the most powerful experiences to watch people and to be involved in one-on-one or groups, have a group conversation such as that. And on the flip side, one of the most frustrating is when you see a situation that just is not going to get resolved. And it's back to this, the constant shift of trying to speak from our heart, resolve, come together, move forward. So 4 things to remember. Don't be cheated on the out breath. The 24-hour problem. Get over it. And a most important thing. This was a photograph that Bruce Glick took. It was in our support page a couple of weeks ago, which I love, the vibrancy of the spring color. He titled it Pure Gold, or the aliveness when you see the colors in the motion in spring. What I'd like to close with again is back to this theme of felicity, the state of happiness, quality of joy, bliss, love. And I'd like to reread the Mary Oliver poem about everything that was broken, the fragile nature of our existence and the delicate aspects of that, and yet the beauty of the light as she talks about this living in the sky house, a fragile yet beautiful place where we are. And the aspect of the release, forgiveness, our stories that make up our lives together. Everything that was broken has forgotten its brokenness. I live now in a sky house. Through every window I can see the sun. Also, your presence, our touching, our stories, earthy and holy both. How can this be? But it is. Every day has something in it whose name is forever. We are going to sing a closing song, number 414. And you can stay seated.
Someone play it.
You can play it through one stay up, and we'll sing it through once. extinguish the chalice. Our time spent together is time well spent, and even when apart, we still have a connection that remains until we are together again. Peace and loving ways to you this week. And that concludes our service.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you'd like to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and help us out by sharing this message by clicking the share button. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to you, Church Holton, there is a link to our online donations in the video description down below. And again, thank you so much, and have a blessed day.